Hey guys, welcome to Unfiltered, Pixel Pro Audio's weekly show. Today we're going to be talking about the
PM1000. Hey Tay,
Yeah?
do you want to win some free gear?
Yeah.
Too bad you can't.
Aw.
But you can. David, tell them how.
All you have to do is go to pixelproaudio.com/all-access and subscribe to our newsletter.
By subscribing, you're entered into all of our quarterly giveaways from now until the end of time.
And you'll be notified when the new Unfiltered episode comes out. Hey guys, welcome back around the drum. Today we are going to be talking about the Yamaha PM1000. What the heck is a PM1000?
Who are you asking, me?
I'm asking both of you. You guys have been talking. I know you guys have had one. You have one. We've sold them before, used in the modules. People have had them on records going back to the 70s.
Well, maybe.
Led Zeppelin used one.
Well, I know that initially this was okay. So they call it the Japanese, right?
Okay.
This is basically Yamaha's attempt to kind of copy Neve a bit in their design.
After Neve had developed his
Right.
stuff, right?
But
This is a console, by the way, a recording
what is
console.
this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a recording console. Put a picture on the screen before all that, but it originally was intended to be a live console.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this was a touring console, and there are a lot of great things inside of it, like tons of extra transformers that you can use for modding, as a result of its original design purpose, which was a live console.
Okay.
But they did such a great job on basically copying Neve's designs that it turns out it's a superb Class A console. Now, the later iterations of the PM1000, like the PM2000, are not the same thing. I mean, they started to get rid of some of the discrete components in there. And while I think the PM2000 is all right, after that, everything is kind of just like op amps and everything goes
definitely
to hell.
live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me wrap my head around this. This is a console. So we're talking about the container, the chassis, and the modules, and the output stuff, the ins and outs,
Right.
and everything all together. This is what the PM1000 is.
Yes.
So when you talk about getting a PM1000, you're talking about the board and everything included.
Well,
Or are we talking about
what's going on over here?
Neve? Yeah? You're going to have to hold. We're talking about the PM1000.
The sad thing is you did mute your phone.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
In the PM1000.
Oh.
Team Coco. Okay, so
Derailed.
the PM1000 is this thing. So now talk about
But that's... So it's a modular design like a Neve, meaning the channel strips, you can pull them out.
Okay.
And so a lot of people are buying these consoles and taking all the modules out and then just racking a couple modules or 4 modules because for one thing, the main thing people love about it is the mic preamp. The mic preamp in it is excellent. They sound superb. And the other thing people really love about them is they're so easy to mod because these are huge modules. There's tons of room. There's tons of space to upgrade the capacitors to.
Well, is there tons of space?
There is.
There is. He just ordered the wrong capacitor.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into that.
So David acquired one of these. So David, talk about yours and then talk about, maybe some of the hurdles you've gotten with it, but generally speaking, you love it. You talk about like every day.
I have a 16-channel PM1000. There are no direct outs. It came stock. So I decided I was going to mod it, do like the Neve recap and EQ mods, and do some direct outs in there with transformers. I did one channel, and it sounds incredible. The noise floor dropped to next to nothing. It sounds really meaty. It sounds very open as well. I love that preamp in the EQ section. So I decided I was going to do the rest of the board, and I ordered a bunch of capacitors, about $500 worth. And
Good.
about half of them.
Okay, keep going.
About half of them were physically too big to fit in the channel strip. So
why didn't you go with the ones that you did in the first module?
Because I could not find those.
Oh, really?
Someone was selling a kit on eBay.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So for me, I bought one of these in 2003 or 4 or something like that.
Okay.
And I completely modded everything. I recapped it, I modded it, I put direct outs on 8 channels. And unfortunately, I sold it, I mean, in part to fund the starting of this business, Pixel Pro Audio. I wish I still had it because it sounded fantastic. But for me, for my electrolytics, I went with Panasonic FC caps. I don't know, what did you go with that was so huge?
Well, I'm doing most channels with Nikon, whatever their gold series is. And then I'm doing, the ones that were too big were the Alna Selmix. They're like super colorful sounding capacitors.
Okay.
And they're like size, they're like C battery size.
That's too big.
Yeah.
Too big.
Yeah.
So you're doing this to change the color and the sound of the preamp.
Well, let's talk about the stock capacitors.
Okay. Stock it up.
All right, I'll let you speak about this. I know you have a lot to say about these capacitors.
I don't have as much as you would think.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that maybe is the biggest complaint about it is that the stock capacitors were, for one thing, they were sort of lower temp, if I recall.
Yeah.
Capacitors. So these things get hot, and so that tends to make them wear out more quickly. So one of the reasons I went with the Panasonic FC capacitors is because they had a very high temperature rating.
Yeah.
And they're just, for me, they were nice and clean and neutral sounding. And then I chose to make all of the color happen in the there's this is probably too far into the weeds, but there's like an input capacitor on there. So I went crazy with like film capacitors and stuff on there.
Oh yeah, you have to do that.
Yeah, and for me, like that was where my capacitors got to be too big because I ordered it and it was like it stuck
Those
out
massive
like
blue ones.
those massive blue film capacitors, and so I actually just created long legs and bent it over and used some tape and stuff to keep it down, but it sounded great. So
yeah,
Sounds like a hack job.
a little bit, but it sounded awesome.
Yeah.
So you're getting yours into position where you want it, or to a point where you love yours, to use yours on every channel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So this is like the heart of your studio at the moment, correct?
Well, the heart of the studio is like the interface, but I want my PM1000 to be used in every session. I love those preamps. Okay. And I want to use it for analog summing too. I've done that before, but the stock capacitors are very noisy, and they're also 40 years old. So it's just time for a change.
Replaced. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but then that gets into the next cool thing about this, which is the EQ section, which again is all discrete. So this whole thing is discrete, and so it's an inductor-based EQ design. Which means again, discrete, no op amps. And for me, I decided I wanted to have a range of options. So I went with the API 550 and the Neve 1073. And I just grabbed some points. The PM1000 has a high EQ and then 3-band mid selectable EQ and then a low EQ.
And they're at weird points too. So like
they went with like 1 kilohertz,
Yeah, so the stock frequencies are 100 on the low. The 3 selectable mids were 1K, 2K, and 4K. Right. And then the high was 10K. And it's like those kind of weird points.
Right. They didn't go for anything musical. They just went for these are nice round numbers.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. So I wanted to change that. And I went with those EQ points because I'm familiar with those models, and I thought, well, that's what I would like to have. Yeah. Those are good musical. The EQ points in the 1073 and the 550 are nice and musical, basically. So that's what I did.
Okay. So preamp, it's got EQ. Mm-hmm. What else? What else does it do? What else does it have that is attractive to people?
It's got buses, so you can do analog summing pretty easily in that.
Okay.
And that's what I did a lot of. I did a lot of recording drums with it. So I was. I'm the type of person who likes to mix my top and bottom snare together. So I was using it for top and bottom snare, and I like to sum my kick mics together too. So I was summing my kick mics together in the PM1000, and then also just doing all the rest of my drums in there as well. Yeah, and it just sounds fantastic.
Yep.
Okay, so they don't make these anymore.
No, they're ancient history.
This is like, has anyone tried to make anything similar?
Well, sure, but they're super expensive.
Right, these are all
This is kind of like a hidden gem. We should have talked about this at the beginning, but I heard about this on Gear Sluts. from a user named Fletcher, who is well known.
Oh, yep.
He's
Yep.
well known to people, and he kind of, people were asking, are there any hidden gems? And this was the one where he's like, yeah, this is the hidden gem. And so back then you could get them. I got mine for $400, and
Wow, that's really good.
yeah, you could get them for that cheap back then. You don't think you can anymore.
No, they're pretty expensive now. They're not really a hidden gem anymore.
No, they're not. They're not. But
So now the demand
you
has
can
gone
still
up.
get them for a reasonable price compared to getting a
Something new.
8-pack of Neves.
Yeah. If you're willing to do the mods and stuff, then
Yeah.
you can learn a lot about it, and you can go in and clean it at the same time, because I'm sure it needs that too.
So you bought yours whole. You see the modules out there, right? So you could get your own, but then you have to get the other components to make it work.
Right, you'd have to get the whole chassis of the console.
Yeah. So if you just buy modules, or if you're just buying modules on your own, you need to build a power supply.
Yeah,
Because we've seen them, and I've seen them on for sale. People have mounted them in racks.
Yeah, and they look
So
really cool.
1 unit racks.
Yeah.
So 1 preamp per rack unit. That looks awesome, and can be done. So as long as it has something to go into and power, right, you can get it done and use it.
I mean, I think people still kind of shy away from them because it's Yamaha, and it just doesn't have the name Neve on it.
Right.
But that's misleading then.
Well, it is really a hidden gem. It's a really good design.
Yeah.
So do you have any thoughts about getting another one?
I would at least like to get like four channels or so, assuming I can get them for a good price where it doesn't make sense to look at something like a warm, some warm channel strips. Now there's a little bit more price competition in that market than there was back when I bought mine.
Okay.
But if you can get one of these for $800, what did you pay for yours?
I got mine as a graduation gift when I graduated college. But I think it was like $850.
Yeah.
My family just pitched
like
in.
16 Class A channels for $850. So
Yeah.
there is nothing like that.
What would you do with 4 channels? You'd have to buy a chassis, or would you?
I would build a chassis for it, and I would build a power supply for it.
Okay.
And
That's quite a project, right?
it is a huge.
Yeah.
That's actually much bigger. The reason I bought the console in the first place, as opposed to buying some channel strips, because back then you could get the channel strips for like $50 a piece on eBay. But the reason I went with the whole console was because it just seemed like an easier project for me, because I had built a few of like the GSSL compressor and the GSS or the G1176 compressor, and then this was my next big project. And really, this would have been a good one to start with as a beginner. So if you're like interested in electronics and you kind of want to get your hands in there and start to understand a little bit about how all this stuff works and how to make things sound better, it's a good beginner's project because it's the quality of the circuit board, for one thing, is really good.
Yeah.
So if you make some mistakes, it's forgiving. Like
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I really learned how to solder recapping this board.
Yeah.
That's when I got good at soldering, was doing that, because, and again, it's really forgiving because if you lift some solder joints or you damage a couple things, the traces are so big, it's so easy to see where everything goes that you can fix it.
Okay.
And it's just a nice, good beginner's project, I think.
Yeah.
So for you now, having done it before, it's easier for you to approach this again, to do it again.
It's easier for me to solder anything.
but at the same time, it's you would suggest it and recommend someone that is getting into it to do it too, because of how maybe easier or like
as long as you're like interested in soldering, you want to learn how to do it, and you think that's something you're interested in, then yes, this is a perfect project.
I've heard you guys talk about the PM1000s for years.
Yes,
so
we're a big fan.
I'm glad we're doing this episode and talking about them because I'm assuming people have heard about them before, but you never know. And
the other thing we should mention before we move on is the outputs. It's got 4 buses, right? We talked about that. The cool thing about this console too is, because it was a live board originally, is it's got 4 transformers on each module.
3.
So
3 on each bus.
So it's got 3 for each bus, and so that means you can take 2 out of each bus, because basically those transformers were used to mirror the outputs. So they could feed the monitors
In different speakers.
different speakers, or recorders or whatever. So there's all these transformers, these big, nice Tamura. I think that's how it's pronounced. Tamura. Oh, that's right. You speak Japanese, sort of.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Okay, go.
Okay, so Tamura transformers, and they're nice, high quality. So what I did is I took those out. They're 1-to-1 transformers, if I recall.
Yep.
I took those out and I put those on my output, so I had balanced outputs from 8 channels.
Yeah.
If you do the math on that, 8 channels. So that's where I got the 8. That's where the 8 channels came from, in me doing 8 direct outs, was because I had those 8 transformers already there, ready to go. So my all-in cost for buying the console and modding everything was probably in the $600 to $700 range, I would say.
For a Neve sounding console.
Yeah. And I did some recording with it before I sold it, and I did quite a bit actually, and it was I very much wish I hadn't sold it.
Yeah.
This is probably a dumb question, but does the PM1000 sound better with Yamaha NS10s?
No.
Does anything sound good with NS10s? Typically not. That's why people love them.
Yes, of course.
Well,
So you have a 16 channel?
Yeah.
What did you have back?
16.
16. So how big?
and that was plenty.
How big do they go? 32?
32.
Okay.
There's a 16 and a 32.
And a 24.
Is there a 24?
There was.
Oh, okay.
Not anymore. It's discontinued.
Yeah.
You just said
Well,
But they all had 4 bus, right?
No, the 32 had an 8 bus.
Did it? Okay.
Yours is heavy.
Yeah,
We-
so
we-
when I bought my house, he helped me move it up my stairs, and it's like
Yeah. They're hundreds of pounds.
It was
It was-
probably
200 pounds-ish.
we both carried it upstairs. I don't think we could have done it
I
with.
think we slid it up the stairs.
That's true. Do we have any? Do we have room for one up here?
No. Oh, God, no.
What?
I mean, they're not. I mean, they're
That was
probably
not the
like
answer
that
I was
wide,
looking
deep. I don't know.
They're like 32 inches on each side. Like, it's a square.
Yeah.
So now, David, you are building a custom desk.
I am not.
Well, you as the project holder or manager.
Yeah, sure.
You're building your desk around your PM1000 basically.
Yeah.
And it's sitting right in the middle, and then you've got, some outboard racks on the bottoms, and obviously you'll show us this when it comes time, but
Yeah.
so basically you are
I would love to see a picture of it in its current state.
yeah.
It's sitting on a table.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
So it's waiting to find a home,
Yeah.
and David's giving it one, and I can't wait to see it's the desk when it's finished. But you are going all in on this board, and you're totally okay with that,
Oh, yeah.
and so that's great. Like I said, you guys have been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah, Jay actually got me interested in the board. I was looking at doing some preamp modding, and you were like, no, that's stupid. Look at this PM1000 channel strip. And I was going to do 2 channels, and then I found a console, and it's like, okay, I might as well just get the console.
Well,
So,
what the heck? Why not?
yeah. So, yeah. I
Okay. Well, you guys have anything else to gush about it?
think we said a lot.
I think we said a lot.
Yeah. Sorry for the long episode.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I could keep going. I really could.
Oh, yeah.
This is so up my nerd, alley with audio gear. I love modding things and building things. And
Yeah.
So Yamaha made a PM2000. Did they get further after that?
Yeah, they went up
They
to the
did.
5,000.
And
Wait, and the 3,000,
this was like
4,000, and 5,000 are all live consoles.
Okay, and this was
Well,
like
they all are live console. I mean, that's what they were all made. Can you imagine lugging the 32 channel PM1000 around? Oh my gosh!
You would need like 6 guys to carry
I
that.
know
It's stupid.
So permanent install.
Yeah, no kidding.
as if like all these components weren't heavy enough. They encased it in like 2.5-inch
Is it
wood.
oak?
It's
something
thick and
super heavy. I think it's cherry wood.
very durable.
Yes. Yeah, it could take hits
lot
from
of
missiles or something.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, man, if you guys have any questions about the PM1000, ask below.
Please ask.
These guys,
I want to talk about it.
these guys know a lot about it, and have their hands in it, and they would be obviously Jay is super giddy about it, and he would love to answer anything you can throw at him. So, all right, guys, thanks, and we'll see you next time around the drum.
Hey down there.
Hey down
Give us a
there.
hand.
Can you grab that? Can you grab that PM1000
By yourself.
by yourself?